As you can see, there's a heap of fine gold mixed in with all the black sands there. There's a couple of nice chunkier bits. G'day guys, Mitch here from Speedy's Prospecting. I hope you're all doing well. Now if you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you've been here before, well thanks for coming back. Now I've got a bit of a plan for the day. I've just picked up myself a new pry bar and we're going to go try and move some big rocks. Well, let's get down to the creek and I'll show you where we're working today. This is the area of the creek that I'm going to be working in today, especially this area here in particular where there's some big rocks. Now the idea for today is I want to try and move some of these big rocks out of the way, get to the material that's in between the rocks and beneath them, and hopefully we'll find some gold hiding underneath. Now my thought process is because the creek's a little bit wider back here and it gets corralled down into where these boulders are. So my thinking is that the water current's gonna travel and funnel the gold into this area. The gold's gonna get trapped in between the boulders. I'm gonna try dig and move some of these boulders out of the way, get to the layers underneath, and then pan the material out and hopefully find a couple of nice bits of gold. So I don't really know what kind of gold we're gonna find today, but there's only one way to find out. So let's get into it guys, the gold isn't going to find itself. I previously checked out this spot last time I was here, but I didn't have the right equipment to move these rocks and the water level was a little bit higher, so it was difficult to access. But there's also areas here that have got some deep crevices in them as well, so I might try give them a bit of a scratch out as well, and we'll see what kind of gold there is around here. So guys, let's get cracking. Just trying to move all these big rocks from in between the big boulders to try and get to the bottom layer. It's really tight and jammed in there, so hopefully there's some gold in amongst it all as well. Now that we've moved a lot of the bigger rocks out of the way, we'll use the shovel and try and dig out some of the material and we'll pan it out and see what gold's in there. We'll go pan this out and we'll see what we've got. So now we'll just go ahead and pan out the material we just scooped out from underneath those big rocks. Now all the heavier material is going to work its way down to the bottom of the pan. So all the bigger rocks, you can do away with them, scrape them out. And you just want to keep swirling the pan around and working the heavier material to the bottom. The lighter rocks and material will end up at the surface, and you can scrape that away. And now you can start panning. And you just want to let the water take the material out of the pan. You don't want to be too vigorous. You just want to let the water do the work. And we'll just pan away the material. There's a couple of bits of heavy sands in the bottom of the pan at the moment. And there's a couple of little specks of gold showing up. So the first pan out of the bottom underneath the rocks showed some decent gold. There's a couple of specks there, and there's one decent bit of gold just next to my finger right there. So we'll keep going here. So I'm just trying to reach down and scoop out the material down the bottom. It's really deep and I can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just going to try and clean out the bottom of this crack the best that I can and try and get some better gold. We're starting to get down into a bit of a clay layer here as well, so hopefully the gold's stuck on top of the clay. Hopefully there's some good gold in there. It is showing up in the pan, as you can see. The size of the gold though is ultra small, very fine gold. So guys, this spot isn't really paying out exactly how I would have liked it to, and these rocks are just too big for me to move by myself. So I'm going to move spots and I'm going to just have a bit of a scratch around in a couple of the crevices nearby, and hopefully we can find some better gold for you guys at home. So I've just come across this crevice here, so I've just been scraping out a little bit of material. So I'm going to empty this crevice out, pan down the material, and we'll see if there's any gold in here. So out of that crevice, I'm not sure if you'll be able to make it out, but there was some ultra fine gold sitting up here, about 20 pieces, and then there was a decent speck here and another smaller one over here. So as you can see, I'm pretty well soaked from being in the water before, and the temperature's dropped about 5 degrees, so I'm going to just stay out of the water for a bit now, try and dry off. But I'm just going to work this crevice along here, try scrape out a bit of the material from in there, give it a pan out, and we'll see if there's a bit of gold in here. So as you can see, this crevice here is a fair way above the water line, but it is an area that when in flood, the creek would supply this area with water, and therefore would be an area that would be likely for the gold to fall out. So I'm just going to give this area here a bit of a scratch out and pan out the material. Look, I have found gold in less likely places before, so this one's worth a shot. So we've got some material here, we'll go pan it out and see what's in there. So out of the first pan of material I got from this crevice, this is what came out of it. And if you can see, there's some nice little bits of gold in amongst those red garnets and gems. So we'll keep working this spot. So now that I know that there's gold in this crevice, I'm going to go ahead and work it pretty thoroughly, give it a really good clean out, And after that, I'll probably use my crevice pump, put some water in here and suck out all the material that's at the bottom, so we make sure that we're not missing any of the gold that's in here. Working crevice is probably one of the easier ways to find gold. It's less labour intensive, and at times you can find a lot more gold in one crevice than what you would after 10 shovelfuls of gravel in the creek. So it always pays sometimes to work the crevices that are above the water line, because a lot of people will walk straight past the crevices on the rocks and go straight to the water. So you've got to sometimes think outside the box, dig in places that you don't think other people would. You just want to work all the material down to the lowest point so that you can suck it up at the end. You just want to wash these rocks really well. And you just want to suck up all the material. You want to get all the material that's in the gold trap. So we've got the second pan of material out of that crevice we were just working before. So make sure that it's nice and wet so none of the gold floats away. And we'll go and pan it down. Black sand starting to show through again. And we've got some more gold in there as well. Couple of nice little bits of gold actually. So out of the second pan of that crevice, along with some nice little gems, we got probably about 15 or 20 little bits of gold. So can't complain about that. Couple of little bits there. So I've spent a few more hours working a couple of crevices on top of the bedrock along the creek here. I have managed to find a bit more gold. So I'll chuck it in a pan for you and I'll show you guys how much gold I ended up with for the day. Been out here for a couple of hours so far, but the weather's starting to turn. I think there's a storm on its way. So I'm going to pack up and I'm going to call it quits for the day. So guys, after going at it for a couple of hours, here's the gold that I've managed to pull out for today. As you can see, there's a heap of fine gold mixed in with all the black sands there. There's a couple of nice chunkier bits, but all in all, I'd say it's been a good day. So today's plan, moving the big rocks and trying to get to the gold underneath, didn't really go to plan today, but that's the name of the game with prospecting. Nothing really goes to plan, and there's a lot of luck involved too. If the gold's not there, it's just not there. So you just got to keep looking around, try your best and see if you can find the shiny stuff. I think the lesson for today is just to not give up when you're out prospecting. This morning I wasn't really finding too much gold, and it wasn't until I sort of started working those couple of crevices up on the bedrock that I did start finding gold. So you just got to keep persisting on and go with instinct. Dig where you think there is going to be gold, and most of the time you're going to find some. So just stick with it and you'll do well. So guys, there you have it, another episode of Speedy's Prospecting. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you'd consider subscribing to my channel. But until next time, stay safe and I'll see you soon. you.